a Pyramid One International Network presentation. Hi, and welcome to Pyramid One World Radio. Let me tell you about a new show coming to Pyramid One. The name of the show is Mystic Spirit. Now, let me tell you about the host. His name is J.K. Miliken. He proudly served his country as an enlisted man in the United States Air Force. Following his retirement from active duty, he traveled across the United States, seeking a place to call home. And in 2005, he moved to Arizona. He has been a guest on Conscious Speaks radio podcast with host Kellie J. Wright. And right here on Pyramid One Radio with myself and Jamie Clark. In 2019, he completed 2 transformational journeys with Kellie J. Wright, which forever has altered his life. He states, "I had no intention of ever writing any spiritual book following my journeys, but the Spirit told me otherwise." His 3 Spirit-led books, My in 90-Day Transformation and in 8 Journeys with Kellie J. Wright, Life After My Transformational Journeys, and Life Before My Transformational Journeys, they were all published in 2021 and are available. They're available right now. You can go right now and get a copy of this at Amazon.com. In 2022, at the continued urging of Spirit, he began to voice the Mystic Spirit podcast on Facebook. And today, right now, he's with us for a live version of the same podcast. Of course, I am speaking about no other than J.K. Miliken. Put your hands together. Let's welcome him to Pyramid One World Radio. Oh, yeah. Yeah. We are there. Now, you know, I just want to quote something, and that before the show starts. It was something that Kellie had said a while ago. And a reason for these kind of shows, and the real reason why we have to understand what we're talking about and understand what's going on inside of us and loving ourselves is number one. She said, sometimes it only takes one person, just one, to change your life. One to be there for you. One to push you to believe in you. It only takes one. You. Beautiful thought.
Well, can you hear me, Bob?
Oh, yeah. Loud
okay. Well, Kellie actually was that one person for me. And she actually had me move mountains within myself. And I changed so significantly that I'm truly not the same person I was in 2019. Totally different person. It was a 180-degree turnaround for me.
Well, there you go. So what the show is really about telling people that this is available to them. Even if they come into the show and they listen to the show, they'll start thinking in their own minds about themselves. How could I get better? How could I make myself better? How could I get the things that I want? How can I be good to me? And that's something that everybody has to realize one way or the other.
Well, that's going to be the entire purpose of the show, actually, because these lessons that are in my books mirrors Kellie J. Wright's book. So my books are sort of like the sister books to her book, which is known as A Spiritual Transformation, Internal Journeys of Spiritual Transformation. And that's also available on Amazon. And I truly recommend everybody read that book, because it will have you ask yourself questions in an abstract way that you come into terms with the lessons in there and create your own narrative that way.
Yeah, I got to remind people too, and there's also, if you like it, there's also for her book a Kindle copy that you can get at a really, really good price too. I mean, it's not a lot of money in that to really, really get into yourself through the book. So, I mean, I had, me myself, I have so many books around here. I'm starting to get Kindles because, I mean, they take up less room, and a couple of megabits. That's it.
Well, it's good to have all this ammo you need in this world.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I got plenty of. Oh, look, if it really, really gets that cold, I read them all. So hey,
Just keep moving forward. That's the only way you can do in life. Move forward. Leave the past behind.
so all right, let me get out of your hair, and I'm going to let you go. And you got something that you want to read, and I mean, let's face it, people, listen to me very carefully. There's a number. It's 609-663-0153. If you've seen the number on Facebook, it's there for a reason. So many people have so many questions. Let me stop at questions. So many people say, "Well, no, that can't work. No, that's not for me. No, I don't have the time." This is something that everybody's saying. It's not just you that's listening. It's everybody. They're all saying the same thing. I got too many things that to do. I've got this. I want to do this. I want to, people looking for jobs and all kinds of things that are going on. This is a part of yourself that's like the part on a hard drive on a computer that's in the middle. Nothing in that spot is ever erased, ever, 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 ever. You can do anything you want to, but that one little piece there in the middle is never, ever, ever taken away. And these are the things that pull you down, that are in you all the time, that you think you're not thinking about them, but you are thinking about them. You're running a background program in your brain that keeps gnawing on you and gnawing on you, and you keep saying, well, I'm going to do better. I'm going to do better. Let JK tell you how you can be a better person. Go ahead, JK.
Okay, so the way this program is going to work is that every week, or every other week actually, I will read you a lesson from my book. And we'll begin with the first book, which is my In 90-Day Transformation and Innate Journeys with Kellie J. Wright. And we'll read a lesson, and with each lesson, there was always a thought of the day, and I will explain that thought of the day further. And then I'll open everything up for questions. So without further ado, the first lesson that I will discuss is called Grow In. Now, the answers that I have are abstract. You have to understand the lesson to understand why it's abstract. When you do transformational journey, nothing is truly black and white. It's all abstract. And it comes from deep within, and it's guided by spirit a lot of times. So let me begin with Grow In. As I read Grow In a second time, I realized that my self-talk had been negative, adversely affecting my life. And it resulted in my developing a fake facade of myself using self-deprecating humor. And that's the way I had to deflect my pain because it was so bad for me. And I never verbally supported myself with positive self-talk because I always fed the negative into my ego and I always came out wrong. So on April 1st, 2019, I found it a necessity to make a change. And the funny thing is, it was through a series of synchronistic events that began with Jamie Clark. And me and him had a lot of conversations about these things. And he kept saying this, 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 this. But I couldn't connect the dots at that point in time. So I went to a psychic convention where Jamie usually attended. And that's where I ran into Maggie Clark. And I had her do a reading for me. And after that reading, I seen somebody else, and her name was Amanda Marquez. And right then and there, the dots connected. So Spirit led me to that point. And then coincidentally, after that happened, I got connected up with Kellie J. Wright, and I talked to her on her show. And boom, the Spirit moved us together in a conversation. And afterwards, with her, I did the 2 transformational journeys. So when she read that lesson to me, for the first time, it really uplifted my spirit. And that told me that I was on the right path. And I now believe the Spirit had been baby stepping me for a long time until I was truly ready to face my fears, which was my past. And from that realization, I knew I had a distance to travel. So the thought of the day for Grow In that I wrote is called, What Do You Want to Become? Now, we all want to be someone or something someday, don't we? But this particular thought isn't about being this or that. It's an invitation for spiritual growth that I present to all of you. And it's how you want to achieve that spiritual growth. If we consider ourselves solely as human beings, we limit our capacity for spiritual growth on so many levels. As spiritual beings, though, we were not designed to be simple cogs in the machine. Otherwise, we would have been extinct long, long ago. Instead, God has given us some abilities so we can connect with Him, His Son Jesus, and our heavenly messengers. And believe me, we all have heavenly messengers. And once we begin using those connections, we begin to feel a higher degree of happiness, which affects our most basic unconscious state to our higher selves for change. And that's how change occurs. So as you hear each lesson, yours from Kellie J. Wright, your responses will be completely different from mine. Because as I was saying, those responses are abstract, and Spirit will a lot of times lead you into how you should answer that particular question. Because the questions aren't really questions, they're more abstract ideas for you to consider in your life. Now, if anyone has any questions, please dial in. We would appreciate it.
Yeah, you can dial in at number 609-663-0153. Or, well, here's another one you can try. Because I'm on it all the time, so I can see you. So that's the way that goes. Just go to Pyramid One Network in Google. If you go to Pyramid One Network, all you have to do, and it says /Wix, W-I-X. Click on that. You go into our landing page. You can find all kinds of things. In fact, you'll see this show a couple of days now. You'll see it in the middle of that page. You'll actually be able to see it there live. Or write into BobCharlesShow@live.com, and I'll send you a copy, your own copy. And when you go into the Pyramid One Network /Wix, there's a chat box. And in the chat room is all kinds of information, all kinds of addresses, all kinds of ways to get in touch with JK. His numbers, his addresses, everything is in there. So you can go there and you can get a reference of everything that you have to know about JK. Also, there's the blog. And on the blog, all you have to do is just click into Pyramid One Radio, and you got it. 1, 2, 3. So go ahead, JK. Anybody, by the way, that want to dial on the phone, don't worry about it. I can take 999 people. Are you going to be that one person that dials in? Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of you dying to call in. Be brave. Call and ask a question. We're nice people over here. Um, in the meantime, though, if you need to contact Kellie J. Wright and get information about transformational journeys, you can call her at area code 909-273-9600. Also, you could email her at Kellie J, that's KELLIEJ, at internaljourneys.com. Internal Journeys is one word. And if you're interested, she'll love to hear from you. Okay, back to you, Bob.
I was going to say that in her book, she's got all kinds of things, though. I mean, like on the index of the book, it says moving, behold, hum, big, time, forward, tracks. I mean, this is the Kindle copy of it. On the paperback side, I got them all. Got them all. I keep seeing these things all over the place. You know, she does say one thing though, and I tell you something, I love her for this. Because on the other show and on other shows and that I do, one thing that we bring out all the time is not only loving yourself, but the word love. In the word love, there's more energy, self energy, the kind of stuff that inspires you to be a better you is in the word love.
But you know why that is? You know why that is, Bob?
Why?
It's because when you love yourself, when you love others, when you love the world, it increases your vibrational frequency and your vibrational speed. And everything is so much better on a higher speed. And this is why love is so important in our lives. So every positive emotion, it increases your vibrational speed and it leads you to a road of eternal bliss.
Well, you must be knocking them down the street. That's like, whoa, I thought I was bad.
Well,
You know,
I'm actually.
I was going to say though, in her book, right? The book is dedicated. She dedicated the book to love. Amazing. Amazing. And you were going to say,
Well, Kellie really is an amazing person. We're actually very close friends now because of what we went through together. People don't understand that when the transformational coach takes you on a journey, it's not a one-sided journey. It's a two-sided journey. It's like a mirror. We mirror her, she mirrors us. And we both have a learning curve, and then we learn from one another. So when that happens, Kellie picks up steam, and away you go on a great transformational journey. That's one thing you could never beat is the transformational journey because it really is a life-changing event, and it totally changed my life.
and you already said that where you started when you were doing it, but what kind of things did you change?
Oh, my whole persona is different. There's no way to describe how bad of a negative human being I was. It was just, I was surrounded by an abyss of darkness, and everything always went wrong. Everything, all my decisions went wrong. Everything, my actions, my behaviors, my reactions, my feelings, it was all negative. And there's one point in time where it got so dark in my life that's a long time ago, I tried to commit suicide. A lot of people are not aware of that. I've been in a dark place, but God saved me for a reason, and He led me on the path to transformational journeys, and He led me to write the 3 books I wrote, which I'm working on a 4th book called The Pathway to Happiness. And he led me to the Mystic Spirit podcast on Facebook, and he pressed me further to do this show. So God is good, and he keeps me going in forward motion here.
You know, JC is always around. So,
Oh yeah, he's around.
yeah, you can talk to him anytime you want. People look at me and they think I'm crazy, because like I say to them, I said, look, just ask. That's what you do. You ask. Believe. If you need something, ask. Because JC listens, believe it or not. It's like I always say, the universe listens. It does. And it talks back too. Sometimes it doesn't give you the answer that you want, but hey, that's the way it goes. The thing is, people don't realize that too, and that the energy, first of all, doesn't die. So the same people, the same energy that ran JC on this planet, in this plane, a long time ago, is still here. Didn't go anywhere. It didn't go flipping off to, to whatever. But it is universal. So therefore, it's in every part of the universe. Energy. That's just the way it goes. So when you ask for something. Don't forget gratitude. Say you thank you from your heart. Don't just go, oh, well, it's okay. Did I get it? No. Well, hey, listen, man, thanks. You know what I mean? You can't, you're not going to get away with that kind of thing. And that from your heart, from your mind, from your body, from your being, from the inside of you, say thank you. Because maybe you don't have it in your hands yet, but you have already made it happen.
Yeah, in a way, in my past life, I was sort of shallow like that as well. I was shallow, saying, well, thank you, but I didn't really mean it. I have actually now come so close to God and my Jesus and the archangels that are protecting me, they're around me all the time. I have nothing but pure love for those people. And they love me back. And they're helping me be the person who I was meant to be from day one. But it took most of my life to get here. And that really is a sad reality. Because I lost my wife several years ago. And now I'm sure she watches me from the other side. But I wish I could show her what I did and how I changed in real life. So that really makes a difference in how you feel about things.
Other side, I got news for you.
Oh no, it's the other side over there.
I got news for you. She's with you. I mean, all of that. I mean, if Jamie, I wish Jamie would call in because he'd tell you the same thing I'm going to tell you. They don't leave. They don't leave. Yes, the soul does get around. Who knows? They may be alive. That may be your neighbor if somebody moves into the neighborhood. You never know. But you never the people that you lose, you really don't lose.
No, that's true.
Not only that, but I was at the other side. You meet them just like you remember they looked like. You see them. I mean, when I went, I met my father nose to nose. And this was, when I did it, it was 1982. And he passed on 61. So there was a little bit of time in between. But the uniform that he had on when he went out of the door was the same uniform that was on him on the other side.
That's interesting.
I remembered the last time I saw that person is exactly what I saw when I got to the other side. People say they find their animals and everything else. Let me tell you something. I got a farm over there.
E-I-E-I-O, Bob.
Oh baby, I'm telling you, I got things. I got everything from oh God, rats, mice. Oh, you name it, I got it. Crap, what's his snakes? Oh man, I'm telling you, I'm gonna have a ball when I get to when I really get there. But these are things that people have to realize. Everybody thinks about their life, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this. Do whatever you want to do as long as you yourself know who you are. And that's another part of the love part. I'll give you, for instance, there was a lot of things that when I was in my 30s that I wanted to do then. Did I do them? Some of them. Did I do them when I was in the 40s? Maybe. 50s? Maybe. It goes on and on and on and on. But now I'm at a place where I figured I'd never get to, but I'm here. You know, how many times did you ever, like, for instance, I'm from the New York area. So in that case, and I worked in Manhattan for 25 years. So I am so New York, it's not funny. I mean, people down here that look at me sometimes when I talk and they go, "Oh, you're from New York." I was also a musician at the same time. I was all over the country. The only states I didn't touch was Alaska and Hawaii. It's the only two states I didn't touch. I didn't sing in. Only those two places. Out of all those places, every single time you go in a diner, shut your mouth. Because the minute you say a one word, the waitress will come over and go, "Ah, you're from New York." Y'all. So I'm serious. I mean, it's kind of a crazy thing. But we all have that feeling and that of those things going on. But at the same time, that same person or those same things that you want to do. Now, I mean, look at me now. I mean, I'm like 71. See, I just said it on the air. But at that thing, I mean, do I look 71 to you? Not really.
No, you look 70.
I knew you were going to say that. But the idea of the thing is, I mean, I'm serious. I
No,
mean,
you look like you're really in your late 50s.
the media director that's here and that she calls me an alien anyway. she goes, you'll never get old. I mean, there are things that I'm doing now that people in where the house is. It's like a community thing and that, but everybody in there is like 55 and up.
Hmm.
So it's a nice place to be in. They got all kinds of pools and things and golf and the whole nine yards. But you have that kind of thing around people that are around your age, right? Yeah, they're all walking around with these little buggies, those
Hmm.
things they push
Yeah.
around, or those electric um, wheelchairs and stuff, and they're all over the place. And I pull up, and I've got a 650 motorcycle. I mean, it looks like I'm gonna go 110 standing still. And they're like, "You still ride that?" I said, "What do you?" I said, "Damn, I ran this thing and that or one like it when I was like 14. What are you talking about? I never stopped. I mean, I never stopped riding a bike. I mean, that's the way it is. So you got to figure you can do anything you want to if you yourself believe in yourself enough to make it happen. And you can. It's easy. But like you said, you saw someone, they gave you help, they turned you to the other side, and now you're you, and you look back at the old you and you say, "God damn." It's like, what did I do? And
Yeah,
I mean, it's one of those things that where now you realize who you are.
I never expected to be where I'm at today. I mean, I never planned on it, but when spirit says do something, you do it. And
Yeah,
I
when was
do
the
what
last
the
time?
spirit asks me.
When was the last time you believed you were going to be on the radio?
Never.
Uh, no. You probably look at somebody else and say, "Well, you crazy?"
Well, Kelly wants me to be on stage with her. I don't know if I would get to that part or not.
Why not? Hey, look, you're a product of her beliefs, and you have your own beliefs. That would be great.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, gotta be a great ad libber. I'm not a great ad libber, but maybe they'll change when spirit says you will be a great ad libber. So,
If you're on stage, and for me doing it, I mean, like when we had big crowds, like 50,000 people, 40,000 people, whatever. You, I would just take the microphone and say, "All right, what do you want?" And you would get sometimes you would get somebody that would like who knows what type of person would be there. But anyway, they would ask some kind of question or something like that. This is 50,000 people, And you got to figure that 49,999 would shut up, except for one person. It'd be like, "Hi, how you doing?" And it was one girl one time. She was little too. She was with her parents. She was about maybe 15 or 14, something like that. And she said she always wanted to sing that song, and she gave it the name of the song, and it was one of the songs that we did, one of our songs. And I got off the stage, almost killed myself, got down, grabbed the whole. I had at that time wireless bikes were first out.
Mm.
That's that long ago. I mean, I had this big ass, wireless mic. Anyway, her parents were there, and we sang the song together in the audience. I got security guys in there sitting right, but they're grabbing me by the belt once in a while to pull me back. I'm sitting there in the middle of all those people and I'm singing. Why? Because I believed in the little girl. The little girl had the guts to ask that kind of question.
So
I
what?
thought a mother and father were going to die when I came down.
Yeah. So what band were you actually in? I never did have asked you that question.
It was Turning Point. In fact, I'm looking at a picture of us on the front. I'm actually sitting on the front hood of a 1959 Studebaker.
Yeah, I saw that. I go, oh, I could tell that's Bob because you're tall.
Oh yeah, I was bigger than everybody in the band.
You look like a stretch limousine on the hood.
No, I was actually the hood ornament on that one. But
Yeah.
it was funny though because when we used to do our songs, you want to talk about feeling and loving yourself, okay? That is the time that a real singer, and there's a few of them out there, but a real singer, your body, your everything inside of you changes. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it does. And then, like a lot of people that say, "Well, I had butterflies," or like I didn't know, I felt a little funny in that when I went out or something like that. I never felt like that. The audience was like family, like close friends. No matter when I get out, and I mean, they could be weird, and some of them were really weird. Let me tell you back then, but it was like they were mine. I had them. That was it. And the first song that we did was "Light Another Candle," and it was a song about actually a relative of ours that lost their brother in Vietnam,
Mm.
and it was "Light Another Candle," for that. But they
Right.
doesn't come out and say that in the song. I mean, the song is about a whole spiritual thing. But in that song, I would start with just a couple little dings on the piano, and I had this little piano that was about 3 foot long or maybe 4 foot long. So it was just on a stand, on the stage, and me and my mic. That's it. And this light come down from the ceiling on my head, straight down on the thing. So here I am in a dark place, not dark place mentally, but mental, but the hall. There would be no lights except the light from the ceiling. Now you want to know what you feel like when all of a sudden the light starts coming up a little bit and you see 50,000 eyes and teeth. I mean, it's like, whoa. And I mean, it was all a cappella. It was the couple of keys and me singing the beginning of the song, a cappella. No other band or anything else in that behind me yet in the very, very beginning.
Takes
And I mean,
talent.
I tell people all the time, if you listen to that song that I did, that's you. That's every single person that listens to the song. Because when you listen to the song, it begins with you by yourself in your own space, doing whatever you want to do. You could be cutting the lawn by yourself. I don't care what it is. You could be eating a piece of cake by yourself. Whatever. But it's you only, period. So you're concentrating on who? You. So I mean, it was like it was an experiment. Experiment. It was unbelievable. Let's put it that way. I mean, it excites me when I just think about all the times that I did. I must have sang that song in every state 15, 20 times in each state times 50.
Yeah, singing a lot.
Uh,
So,
gee,
so do you have yourself singing it on some
no,
YouTube?
I haven't. Yeah,
YouTube,
I got an MP3.
because I like to hear some of the things you did.
Yeah, I'll have to send you one of those.
and that'd be great.
But go ahead while you're talking. I'll see if I can get it up on a computer.
Okay, so as Bob was saying, and I'm saying, is self-love. It truly is very important for your well-being, actually. And without self-love, what do you really have? I mean, you shouldn't be of the world, because being of the world is not a good thing. And you want to leave that behind, and you want to be able to love yourself. And when you love yourself, you become something bigger and better than the world. You connect with the spirit on the other side. You connect with God. You connect with Jesus. You can connect with your archangels, or what angels are protecting you. You can connect even with loved ones that have passed over. And there was one time that when I lived in a different part of Arizona, I woke up one night and a full-fledged spirit was hovering over me, and that spirit was my wife. And she actually kissed me, even though I didn't feel it, but she kissed me on the lips, but I couldn't feel it because she was spirit. But that really was a wonderful blessing, knowing that she is around me at all times. So how's it going there, Bob?
Oh, I got it.
All right.
I got it. I'll just play the beginning of it because you don't want to hear the whole thing.
All right. Are you that bad?
Terrible. This was a trial in Japan.
Oh.
Many times I visit, it always seems to rain. Seconds turn to minutes, and hours into days. Showers kill the flowers, and quickly colors change. They never seem to live too long, they choose to fade away. All the things I meant to say, forever left the hurt. Tombstone that declares your name never lets you hear my words. Showers kill the flowers, numbered are the days. They never seem to live too long when placed upon your rain. And pray for you again. Sweetness all together, goodbye, my friend. Love and pray for you again. Sweetness all together, goodbye, my friend. Loneliness surrounds me, 30 years of age. What's planted in your garden, there's nothing I can raise. Nothing lasts forever, but still I call your name. If thine was your freedom, then live it in my chains. I'm like a loving God, and pray for you again. Sweetness all together, goodbye, my friend.
Yeah, I'd say that was some song.
Well, thank you for sharing a part of your soul with me. That was. I'm surprised that you can sing like that with your voice. I didn't think you could sing like that, but you can. It's
Oh
fun.
yeah,
It's
oh yeah.
funny
We
because you
did.
have this.
Let me see. When I was 30, like it said, I did 8 octaves.
Hmm,
My feet never touched the ground. We're like,
your voice is everywhere, which is
you know,
good.
it was kind of weird that, but like way back then is when the spiritual side of me started. Was
Mm,
way back then, and it just continued and continued. And let me tell you something: my road has been everything but pleasant. I mean, there's been such ups and downs,
mhm.
that you just have no idea. Well, maybe you do, but on the other hand of that, it all culminated in what I do now and what I am now, and things like that. I mean, like talking to you, talking to other people, talking to people on the radio, and that people who that call into the show and things, being understanding to anybody and everybody. So it can be any type of person in any place, anywhere. I talk to Africa, India. I've had calls a long time ago, and I don't know whether they allow them anymore, but people used to call from China.
Mm.
That used to be over now because there's international numbers on here that you can call the international number to get here. Uh, there's so many things, and I still get notes in that back and forth net from the University of Moscow. They listen, they listen to the show on Tuesdays. This is what they do in the library, and then tomorrow, I'll see whatever they wrote. They'll usually there's a girl that's over there, Mikhail, I think her name is, or something like that. It's a very, very, very uh, Russian name.
Like
And
Michaela.
no, it's weird. Something with an M. But
All right.
anyway, she
Yeah.
writes, and just to get under my skin, she's gonna write me something in Russian. And then at the very, very bottom of it, she say, "Oh, you translate?"
That's
Like
funny.
if she could write the what's the English down the bottom, why didn't she read the whole dang thing in English?
Maybe we should ask her what she thought about the show today.
Oh, I get all kinds of crazy things, and a lot of times then I'll send shows over to them, and then I'll say, "Look, you dummies, here's where you," and I'll send them a link. Like we have a channel in YouTube, so these things go to YouTube. We also have, I mean, there's other places in that where there's 1,700 shows that I've done, you know,
Wow.
from a long time ago. So I mean, out of 1,700 shows, you're going to find something you like. I mean, I've got everything from growing in a farm to a senator in Alaska.
That's funny. Yeah, you just never know who's out there and who's listening and who wants to talk. And
Exactly. And you know what? The best thing is the people that are out there that are learning, I'm hoping and praying that they're learning because there's so many shows out. There's a few of them now that are some of the conservative shows and that are out that people actually talk like people.
hmm
It's not written. It's not scripted. It's not, like anything that I have here. Like I've got stuff here in it that I can read. That
well, you have I don't know if you listen to the flyover conservatives, but they're great people. They're great ad libbers, and they just tell it like it is and how they feel.
well, I mean, I'm not gonna be political here, but I mean, you take a guy like Trump or anybody that's in his cabinet and everything else, and that they said what they say, months and that with the thing and that with Twitter. He says what he said. So look, they had a picture of him bringing in a sink.
Oh yeah, I saw that, and
Yeah,
he makes this joke. It's just let that sink in.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm serious. I mean, these are people who are not afraid to say what's on their mind. And it doesn't, a lot of this doesn't come from your mind. It does come from the universe in a way
Mhm.
because there's something behind you that's saying this is what you're going to say. Because how did you get that thought that you were going to say something that affected so many people?
Yeah. I know that sometimes they tell me what to write in my books. Sometimes they tell me what to write on Facebook. And sometimes they tell me things to tell other people that's important for them to know. And sometimes I freak people out like Jamie does sometimes because they said, how did you know that? So
Yeah.
spirit does work through all of us whenever the spirit needs to work through us.
Let's get back now. Let's do a 180. When you're doing a transformation, that is that universe talking through you and your coach.
Well, yeah, it's a very, very powerful thing. I mean, it's it's so powerful that it really is difficult to explain the power of the transformational journey because it's just not just you and Kellie. It's the spirits involved here, and the spirit wants you to move a certain direction. It wants you to change a certain direction. It wants you to know this, it wants you to know that, and it moves you forward. But it moves Kellie forward with you, and that's really a wonderful thing that happened between the coach and the student. And
Well, too, though, a teacher is the hand of, well, I used to call it the hand of God. Teachers. I mean, everything that they know that they're teaching is something that was taught to them. And now they're taking it and they're making you understand what they learned. I mean, I had a professor one time in school, and I'm telling you, I blasted the guy something fierce. It was, um, we were in science and we were doing something. I forget what it was, but I turned around to the guy and I said, "No, you're wrong." So he turns around and he goes, "What do you mean I'm wrong?" I said, "I'm telling you, you're wrong." So he says to me, he says, "Mr. Opperman, get up." So okay. So I stood up. He says, you do not question me ever." I said, like, okay, that's good. Still, you're wrong. So he says, "Get out of my class." So I got out of the class. I come back the next day. Now this is still, I mean, we're talking college here. I mean, these guys go nuts. They jump up and down, throw books, and the whole 9 yards. And they're allowed. So, hey. So, okay, so I leave that class. Now, I always had great grades. I don't know. There must have been the universe then, because somebody made me have great grades. I mean, whatever I read, I knew, and that was it. End of story. So anyway, the next day, and then I come back, and he goes, "You, come here." I said, "Me? What do you want me?" I said, "You threw me out yesterday." So he turns around and he goes, "I want you now." Okay. So I go over to him and everything else. He goes, "I got to tell you," he says, "sorry about that." He says, "I went back to the book." He says, "You were right." So I said, "Now wait a minute." And then I raised you can hear I have a very big mouth. I mean, very loud mouth. So I turned around and said, "You mean to tell me you read? You got there?" Everybody's in the It was great. And everybody's like, "Duh, huh?" So he goes, "You had to do that." I said, "I had to do that." So he goes, "Sit down." I mean, it was, that was like, yeah, just one of those things. But yeah, people have to realize that when they go through a transformation is very much like what I just said. There's so many things that you know about life, but you think you know about life
Mhm.
until they take it apart and then put it back together. You got to take it apart before you put it back together again. I mean, it's not one of these things now where you're just going to do something different overnight. It don't happen that way. Don't happen that way to nobody. I don't care. I mean, take a trained mouse, right? You got to teach him 1,000 times before he does it once, right?
Mhm.
Right? Us humans are the same thing. We've got to be taught and taught and taught and taught and taught and taught, and all of a sudden the light comes on like over our head. It looks like a Ford commercial. It's like bing, there goes the light. And then when that light comes down, all of a sudden your life, everything around you, like I'm talking broader than you are. I'm talking about everything from your work to the way you have lunch to the way you come home to the way you go grocery shopping. I mean, or the way you act with a cashier. You feel, and I think you're going to agree with me on this. You feel everything around you, including the people.
Mhm.
They're all part of you. All of a sudden, this new, like it's like you're supposed to have all these senses, you know. So I got this sixth sense. Well, this is number 7. This is one we didn't know we had, but somebody's got to tell you got it,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you have it.
Yeah, you feel people's energy around you. It's like, you're feeling the molecules and atoms working around you and stuff. So you sense all this stuff. And it really is a little bit above the ESP level. It's the next level step up to existentialism, I believe is what you'd call it.
Yeah, well, so many people that always say like, "Oh, I'm gonna do." Yeah, I mean, I've heard it. I mean, I've been out, and in fact, I gave a talk about 2 weeks ago at a diner that's over here. I didn't plan on doing it, but we were talking about one subject, and somebody else asked the question, and they asked the question, and they said, "Aren't you the guy on the radio?" And that was it. That blew the whole thing. But you know, it did. I mean, I'm serious. I didn't intend on doing anything or embarrassing myself. But we were talking about a subject in it about the universe and about how the universe interacts with us all the time. It's on the 7 day a week, 24/7 plan, and we don't realize it. I mean, we just go, and we do what we're doing or whatever else, and a lot of it is wrapped up in one of the things that I blame all the time is it's blamed on cell phones and smartphones. And that's why the people started asking questions. Because I said, anybody that has their face in a phone all the time is learning nothing. And they
Right?
didn't get that. They didn't get that part.
I agree. I agree 100%.
It's what is around you or the interaction with the world that teaches you. The cell phone, it can give you directions. But the directions, once you read them, it's over. Put the cell phone down. Hide it. If you're going to get a phone call, that's what a phone's for. Get a phone call, answer the phone, say how you doing, goodbye. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't sit on the phone. I mean, I've seen people almost get run over by cement trucks because they walk across the highway looking at a phone.
Yep.
Or we got somebody that I see in the morning. This guy works with things plugged in his ear and a cell phone in one hand. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? It's like, hey, I mean, and this is what has taken the IA part of of the international, or should I say, artificial intelligence, has taken over so much of our brains. It's not funny. And the thing that gets me, that bothers me more than anything, is it's the younger, people that are coming up that are completely inundated by this type of technology, and they don't think for themselves. They got to look it up. They don't read a book and know the answer. They look it up. And if you got to look it up, I always tell everybody, I said, what happened to the libraries? You go to the library, you take out or you sit down on a table and that you take out 3 or 4 books and that, and you'll get a different. You might even get a different. How would you say it?
Perspective.
Perspective, and every single idea would present itself in a different manner.
Mm-hmm.
So if that was the case, then you would take all those presented ideas, put them together, and come up with your own.
Right.
Don't quote me what your cell phone said. The cell phone, you is you, not the phone.
Yeah. Well, that's basically the way I write, because sometimes I have to look stuff up. So I look about several things and go, oh, I get it. It's this. Okay. And then I talk about it differently than they do.
Yeah, of course. And that's learning. That's education. That is the universe.
But the problem is with cell phones is everybody's becoming isolationist. They're their own bubble. They don't interact with all the other bubbles. They're like bubbles floating around, but none of them are interacting with one another.
But even if they do interact with the other ones, they're still not there 100%.
No, they're not. They're still on the phones, looking at the phones, talking.
Right. exactly. And I see people there was a guy in that this morning. I'm going out and I'm taking a ride to the other side of Florida actually. And as I'm going, there's somebody at a stop sign, and he stops, and there's nothing coming, nothing. Like I'm
Yeah,
looking both ways. There's no cars, and he's sitting there. The guy must have been texting somebody or whatever he's doing on the phone. So I honk the horn, and the guy gives me the bird in the mirror. So I'm like, huh? So okay. I mean, I wasn't gonna. I could have passed the guy, but I didn't. No, I wasn't gonna do that. I was just gonna push him a little bit. So I get all the way down that this guy goes flying up the road, and I figured, okay, you're gonna do that, fine with you. So I just go and I meet him at the next red light,
no,
which was even worse.
I can
So
imagine.
here's the guy in front of me,
His
and
lips were moving.
I get and I get the bird again at that red light. When it turns green, he wasn't going anywhere, and the guy behind me, man, he's ready to be in my trunk. I mean that's how close he is. So, all right, we go down a little bit further. We got to that red light. Finally, the thing turns green. The guy goes, bing, gives me the bird, turns and gets away. And I just kept on going. And I'm like, how? This is what phones have made us to be. I mean, we're idiots. We're driving like that.
Hmm.
It's unbelievable. And I mean, there's a lot of people out there that I'm sure that can relate to that because we've all done it one way or the other. The only thing is if my phone rings, even if it rings, and I've got Bluetooth in the car, I've got all kinds of things in my car, but I don't even answer the phone. I'm in the car, I'm driving somewhere. If you really want me, I'll leave me a message and I'll call you back. That's about it. I just won't do it. Maybe it was when I was raised or something, but I mean, I'm not going to say to somebody that it's wrong that you do that on the phone if I'm going to do it myself.
Hmm.
That would be kind of stupid, wouldn't it?
That'd be, yeah, not good.
I, I'd be,
What's the
I'd
term?
be,
What's the term? Hypocrite. There you go.
I'd be the idiot. Exactly. So, okay, now where do you want to lead? Do you want to leave some addresses or times or whatever?
Well, okay. So basically, to get in touch with me, you just email me at jkmilliken with one L at outlook.com, or you can call me at 480-228-9714 and leave me a message and I will call you back. I typically don't answer my phone because I get a lot of scam calls. And so to prevent that, if people need to really get in touch with me, like Bob says, they'll leave a message. So please leave a message. And that really ends our show today, mostly.
Where can they get a copy of the Mystic Spirit podcast?
Well, I have it on my Facebook page. You can find my Facebook page under J.K. Miliken, and you can find it Mystic Spirit podcast off of there.
Okay. And you also have, let me
Because
see.
I have a page on Facebook called the Mystic Spirit Podcast, and that's where all the podcasts are stored.
Oh, there you go. And everybody can do that. If you want, is your address on there too on the Facebook?
Which one?
Is your address, your email address
I believe so.
on there?
Yeah, I think so. I think it is.
We'll check when we get off. Make
I'll
sure.
have to check. I know my phone number's not on there because there's a reason for that. But
Oh yeah, because right now all the political guys are calling you up on the phone. Go vote, go vote.
oh yeah, I got those too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Now I want to tell everybody out there, and a copy of this will be on. Just put in Pyramid One Radio on YouTube, and you'll come to our channel and click on the click that says videos, and you'll see a copy there. Or go to Pyramid One Network /Wix, and you'll see this in a couple of days, dead center in the middle of that page. And if you really, 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 really can't, maybe your hands don't work and the brain don't work, you don't go to the websites or whatever, just write me, Bob Charles Show at live.com, and I will send you a copy. Just put in the subject, I listened to your show. Please send me a copy for this date. And today is 11/1, or Old Souls Day. So, I mean, if you're religious, I hope you went to church this morning. But anyway, It was a great show. And thank you.
I think it went really well. So to everyone out there, love and namaste.
Yeah, by the way, everybody who's listening, next week, I'm going to put a link on so you can actually come in. You've seen it on TV and that, where people will come in and there'll be a guy on the news and then there'll be 3 or 4 people in the bottom. Well, I can put 99 people in one show. So you can come in, you can look at us in the face, and you can talk to us right here. You can be helped. Everybody can be talked to right here. So in 2 weeks, we'll see you, and we'll, see where it goes.
And we're out.
I want to tell everybody, too, and I thank you very much for being here on the show, J.K. Miliken, the man, the guy, the legend. And listen to his podcast, the Mystic Spirit Podcast. God bless y'all. Bob Charles.